as well. I want you to root down through your sit bones, through your feet. And start to roll your shoulders back a few times, then forward. Then one more time up and down the back, pressing the shoulder blades together. And just tune into how you are feeling. Any thoughts, any feelings that are coming through. Any sensations in the body. And just bring awareness into this moment in time. Notice the quality of your breath. And I invite you to breathe down into the belly. Start to lengthen your inhales and extend out your exhales. Feeling yourself settle into this moment, settle into the body, settle into the space that you are in. And we'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. As you empty the breath out, take a deep breath in through the nose and an audible exhale out through the mouth. Take another deep breath in through the nose and an audible exhale out through the mouth. And one more deep breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top. Can you take in a little bit more air? Then let it go out through the mouth. And seal the lips and start to breathe in and out through the nose. Feel the breath move through the back of the throat, down the length of the spine, and into the belly. I invite you to set an intention for our session today. Allow your intention to organically come into your consciousness. My invitation for you is to be open, curious, and most importantly, to have fun. You are going to receive the insights you need to hear right now. Empty the breath out. Take a deep breath in through the nose and an audible exhale out through the mouth. And as you're ready, gently open your eyes, coming back to the present moment and this present space. Welcome, everyone. I know that we had a couple friends come in during the meditation, so feel free to pop in the chat to share how you are feeling, where you are joining from. I'm going to start off with a forecast, and then I'll be answering some questions. So make sure you're not going to be disturbed, that you have a beverage, maybe a notebook as well. We'll get started with the forecast. Okay, so last week we had a full moon in Sagittarius, and that may have sparked some existential crisis for some of you, especially if you look at your expanded report in the chart properties. If you see Sagittarius coming up a couple times, like two or three times, or you have planets in the ninth house, that oh, Kathleen, that's what that was. Yeah. So full moons come like every single month. And a lot of times they match up with their periods as well. So it just makes it a more intense time. With that full moon in Sagittarius, there was like a lot of feeling and emotion, but it was a very intellectual moon. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there was the obvious part of like being in your feels, but it's a very thinking sign as well because Sagittarius is known for its duality, I like to say, in terms of its playfulness, but it's also extremely academic, intellectual, likes to take in a lot of information, very philosophical too. So during this time, the Sagittarius parts of your chart may have been activated, and generally speaking, at the collective level, we're all thinking like, huh, like, am I on the right path? Should I be doing something different? Am I good enough? Do I need to get a certification? Should I go back to school? Are my efforts kind of like, worthwhile. During this time, you may have also felt the need to like run away or plan an international trip, being like, I just need to get away. I find this to be especially true for my friends with Sun, Moon, Rising, and North or South nodes in Sagittarius. That was something that a lot of people experienced. But last week also kind of started a couple new cycles in terms of Venus entered Gemini as well as Jupiter entered Gemini. And what does that mean? That means that we're all very focused on Gemini things right now. So if you have Gemini in your chart, I want you to go to your chart properties, take a look at if Gemini shows up in your chart, or if you have the number 3 in the houses show up. This is where you will be affected in terms of where you feel a lot of growth, expansion, abundance, and blessings coming your way. Yay, Jessica. So Jupiter in Gemini, I also have my Jupiter in Gemini, and that means you're around like 35, 36. It's usually kind of around like a specific age because it's like tranches of time. So with a Jupiter in Gemini, that means like the normal ways where you feel expansive. So taking in information, sharing content, like writing and speaking, that's going to be even more amplified during this time. Um, and really, it's a good time for you to start your Substack, your YouTube channel. Maybe it's to do some more speaking engagements. I'm like, why is my there we go. This is going to be like a super lucky time to do that. Now, with the midheaven in, oh, we got a lot of Gemini friends. With the midheaven in Gemini, that means like all things related to success and career are going to be amplified, Mary. So you will find success as you like share more of what you feel passionate about. And Sabrina, let's see, rising North Node and Chiron in Gemini. So a lot of different moving parts here. So what I see is that your purpose placement is in Gemini, how people view you is in Gemini, and also the parts of you that feel a bit tender. So as you pursue your purpose, you will also notice that it brings up things like you're like, oh, I feel kind of tongue-tied. I don't always feel like I'm saying exactly what I want to say. It doesn't mean you're not well spoken. It just means there's like layers to unpack. Let's see, Sun in Sagittarius. I got the overwhelming urge to go under a tree. See, Ciara? Yeah. You're just like, I want to run away. Sagittarius is a sign that like loves to run away. A moon in Gemini. So Ray, with the moon in Gemini, this is a really like a heart expansive time, and for you to understand kind of how to process your emotions more, how you can overthink kind of like your feelings rather than feel them. With a second house in Gemini, that's an activation of like money and self-worth and upgrading of money stories. Oh yeah, and Venus in Gemini. Yeah. So it's I figured that as well. With the Venus in Gemini, that's also like the things that you're good at are like communications based. So I also have Venus in Gemini as well, and it took me actually quite some time to figure out that like write the right type of writing that would really feel expansive and abundant, because Venus is not just the sign about dating and partnership, but it's about values, it's about sales and marketing and magnetism. And like the last three are things that I don't see a lot of astrologers talking about. When we view it from career and business aspect, it's really the skill sets that people really gravitate towards you. And if you look at the specific house, that's like the area of focus. So with the Venus in Gemini, it's you enjoy like writing or speaking, taking in information, talking to people about many ideas, like ideating. So that's going to be very lucky as well. Sophia, North Node and Chiron and Gemini in the second house. So learning a lot of lessons around money, around self-worth. And Sabrina, so in the 12th house, it's a lot of exploration around intuition, the healing arts, spirituality, as well as like your psychic ability. Okay. Okay. Sierra says no. Oh, thank you, Sierra. So, oh wait, I gotta go down a little bit more, make sure I covered everything. Oh, Melanie says, no Gemini, but I have Saturn and Chiron in the third house. So this means that it is this period of time for the next year is going to be extremely healing for you to activate your voice, as well as really kind of moving ahead in your career. And like Saturn is all about maturity and kind of following your life's purpose and path. If you're making good on your soul contract, and with Chiron in the same house, I feel like communication can be quite challenging for you at times. So this year is really going to be an invitation to activate your voice and to develop your own specific voice. All right. Yeah, so Gemini and Sagittarius, they are very similar, very communication based as well. But the difference between Gemini and Sagittarius is that Gemini is much more locally based. It's like likes to consume like more short-term information in terms of like news, entertainment, like music, like social media, like very voracious about that type of information. But Sagittarius is very academic. Like you love really like, you're like, I don't want that cheap stuff. Like I'm reading books, I'm reading studies, I'm reading like the abstract, but the study itself as well. I'm not just getting like the meme from like the TikTok. Like you're serious about your learning, like a lifelong learner. And yeah, you would do blogging in a really, I really think that if you're still thinking about blogging, now is a good time, because what I feel right now, and I'm also going to shift my content, is that there is like a what's the word, kind of like a kind of, people are getting sick of like the catchy content. They're like, okay, like we're not dumb, stop speaking to us like we're dumb. And they want something more, but that also like you still got to get the hook. I'm like working on getting the hook, like a short video, like I'm talking about TikTok, and then the second video I make is something much more intellectual, more in-depth and longer, because our attention spans are still quite short based on the social media platforms and communication methods that we have. So there needs to be kind of like a transition. You have to catch someone, and the way to catch someone is to be very specific about the information. And I know that with Sagittarius placements, you'll be able to figure out like the specific thing that's going to be very interesting. Oh, so Venus and Gemini in the seventh house, Carol, obviously, knowing you, this is going to be a time when your network like really blows up, and all the investment that you put into like building your relationships, the more that you share, the more that you gather. I think it's quite interesting that you have Gemini and Sagittarius in your chart. I feel like you almost need to like organize an event where you gather people together. I know that you have like a really big network, so it might be something virtual and maybe something in person as well. But you will see this like people will be very attracted to, let's say, the thing, like obviously you're writing and you're speaking, but also I would say if you're looking to create more short form content, educational content, we've talked about this before as well. And I would say Substack for you, because you're big on LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. Those are some interesting things to consider. Finding a hook that feels less gimmicky and more authentic. Yeah, I try. I'm like, oh, my like hooks. I'm like getting tired of. I need to think of like new hooks. But I totally get it. We have an ecosystem we need to play in, and there are things that we can kind of finesse and change. So that's the immediate forecast right now. So what you've been feeling this past week, literally a week ago, the energy shifted. Like I got tired because we're in Gemini season, but also that full moon in Sagittarius made me like tired as well. I don't know if you guys feel the same. Drop it into the chat. I know a lot of people felt quite tired last week. There's just like a lot of shifting energy. And the big shift is us to be more social, more chatty, connecting, sending emails, like meeting in real life, meeting virtually, sharing our knowledge. Yeah, I'm feeling tired now. There's just so much going on. And this is going to be most strongly felt in the next few weeks during Gemini season, as well as, our Mercury is entering Gemini in 2 weeks or so. So there's going to be a lot of energy around Gemini, but know that after Gemini season, it'll kind of taper down a little bit more. But right now is a really good time to kind of get on calls, like meet with people, but practicing discernment because you can't go to everything or else you're going to get way too tired. Those are really powerful things. And I know that this is the energy we've been waiting for all year. I know that this year for many like was slow to start. People went into a dark hole, a pit in March and April, especially if you have Aries or Libra placements. So if you look at your chart properties and you see Aries or Libra or ones and sevens, you were like, I don't know what that was, but I never want to be there ever again. And you won't for a little while, the rest of the year we're going to see like just the energy kind of stabilizing a little bit. Our Mercury retrogrades will kind of affect our creativity this year, but really I would say April was the worst month. So honestly, we are out of there now. Oh, Timmy, I have a lot of Aries placement, but I'm an Aries sun and a Libra moon. Like, so the lessons we've been learning this past year are really around like identity and boundaries, how we want to lead, how we want to show up, and how we want to be in relationships. So, Timmy, with your moon in Libra, it is so much like you feel so good in relationship with others. You always like need like a BFF, a sibling, or significant other. And this past year has been so much around like, am I surrounded by the right people? And the beautiful thing is that we have gone through a lot of the hoops the universe has like sent our way this past year to kind of, it's a big clearing in terms of shedding old parts of who you are, shedding relationships and relationship dynamics that no longer serve you, and having that awareness. And then now we're presented with such a beautiful opportunity with Gemini season and all these Gemini transits to make these new relationships that are really going to uplift us, meeting new people. And I know that some of you like have a bit of fatigue. You're just like, I don't know, I just went through a breakup, like whether it's work, a significant other, a friend, a sibling, or, any type of person like in your life. And you're telling me like, I got to get back out there. Yes, but it's going to feel different because your energy is different. Melly, I've been laid off for a year, so I guess I shed my job. Yeah, so we started this transit like last year officially in July, but really we felt it since like last March. Ah, yes, laid off in December. Oh, so I actually did a live on Instagram around like what to do if you get laid off. It has some really helpful tips. I summarized it in the caption, but also the video I think is around like 25 minutes. I would recommend anybody on the call who got laid off to like watch it as well. All right, so that's the forecast I have for you. If you like this, let me know because I'm thinking about doing this on a quarterly basis for all of my friends who have gotten reports from me. I do the free like ones for like the career astrology, like 101, but that has like slides and it's like people like being introduced to stuff, but you got your full report. So you have like so much more information. So if you like it, let me know. And now I will take some questions. So you can either drop it into, I will drop it into the chat, or you can raise your hand and I will call on you. Yes, Mary. I remember writing your email. Like lots going on for you this year. Questions? Nobody has any questions? Everybody was just here, here for the vibes. Oh, okay. Sabrina says, I'm curious about Mars placements and what it means for career. Mine is in Sagittarius. Am I particularly prone to learn to teach? Oh, I know, Timmy. I wrote you so long ago. It's an OG one. So, okay. So when we talk about Mars placements, Mars is the planet of momentum, of drive, of passion. I don't put this in the reports because I feel like it's I guess not appropriate for career, but also sexual drive as well. Like what you are attracted to when it comes to the masculine doesn't mean you're like attracted to men, but like we all have masculine and feminine within us. That's like another definition that I like to share when I'm like doing readings or doing like these live Q&As. So when we talk about career, when you're in a career funk, when you look at your Mars placement, that's going to give you an idea of how you can kind of build momentum for yourself. So it's also how you take action. So if you're feeling kind of in a career funk, what's going to be good for you is to travel. And I already know this about you, actually. You are a worldwide traveler. So making it like taking a trip somewhere that your intuition guides you to. I also do like mini astrocartography readings. So if you're curious, like email me or DM me. What I usually do is like I have you think of and come with three different places or a couple different places you're considering, and then I'll look at your astrocartography and tell you if you go to this place, this is going to be the vibe. It's like the Goosebumps back in the day. You're like, choose your own story, but less scary. It's like that. Choose your own adventure. Do you want to go to a place that is this, like deep healing, shadow work, or you just want to cruise for a little bit, activate your voice and kind of like learn, or do you want to really focus on like love or like family, something like that. So for you, when you get into a rut, travel, dive into a specific subject matter. It could be like getting another certification. It could be reading a couple books, kind of a self-study type of thing. Um, that is going to be something that is really helpful. And the way that you lead is through a very academic this like perspective. Like you kind of want to take in a lot of information. You're like, let me read all the studies. I don't want to read the news because that's a lie, but I'm gonna read like what the citations of the article, and kind of like seeing like what's cutting edge in research. Good question. Yes. Sierra, what is your question?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have your first off, your report was spot on. I absolutely loved it. I everything spoke to me, and you said a lot of stuff that I was actually feeling inside, so it kind of
Hmm.
validated how I was feeling. But
Great.
I'm a Sagittarius sun, and I have a lot of Capricorn placements, and so I'm a
Hmm.
pilot, so it's perfect for being a Sag. I love to travel,
Hmm.
and it's a great job, make a lot of money, get to travel, see the world, but it's very I feel like I'm very in my masculine and
Mm.
very intense and rigid, and you know
Mm.
part said you should, show up with your career and be creative. And it's hard to
Mm,
be creative when, you have to stick to like, a certain way of doing
yeah.
things. There's lots of structure. So, but anyways, my passion is though, I'm really big into like self-care and
Mm,
doing all things and like I don't know different holistic organic products and
yeah.
I tell people like I'll go to my massage therapist or my acupuncturist and or just tell friends or locals about certain things. They're like, holy crap, like will you send me a text and it's like 10 different things they're excited about, right? And
Yes.
so I want to look into these things and they're like everybody I've been seeing lately in the last 6 months, people I've known,
Yes.
they all tell me the exact same thing. They're like, you need to create an
Oh,
Instagram or a blog or a
yeah.
website of all this information, like a one-stop shop. And I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, it'd be way easier than texting everybody these 10
Yeah.
different links and things. But
Yes.
I'm like, where can I go with this? And then I met with my girlfriend and she's like, how cool
Yes.
to create like a women's group where we all talk about things like why we got into this certain career field. And then it started spreading like wildfire, like my facial. She's like, oh my gosh, I would come do it and speak and I would talk about how I changed my career. And it was just like I've had all this energy and fire and I'm like fired up
Yeah.
about it. And I want to create this women's group and create that. But I'm not that like influencer type person where I don't want to be behind a camera. I don't want to be like,
Mhm.
oh, look at this. Like I'm walking into this place. And sorry, I'm
Okay.
vomiting, but you kind of get the picture of like
I
that's
do.
not my personality. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I want to start off small, but
Mhm.
I feel like I'm meant more in this world than just like, flying people from point A to point B. I mean, it's a great moneymaker, and I don't think I can
Yeah.
just quit my job tomorrow. Like clearly I need, to make money, but it's just like I don't
Yes.
know. I'm feeling kind of like stuck. I'm in that funk you were talking about.
Yes. So what I see, because I have your chart on
Yeah.
my, that's what I was looking at. I get all of your free charts delivered to my email. So it's easy to pull it up. So it makes a lot of sense because your Gemini, your moon is in Gemini in the sixth house. So what makes you feel alive, come alive, is being alivened right now in
Yeah.
Gemini season and in the house specifically for wellness and routines. So actually, I would say continue flying, obviously. But at the same time, I know that you have your report, and you got your report like a little while ago. Was it last year?
No, it was actually I got it in April, I think. Yeah, April.
Oh,
Just
oh
like
yeah, yeah. I see that your free report, you got it in April, so that means like your paid report was sometime between like then and now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so you actually have a lot of placements to start a business. And because you actually love sharing things, Gemini, I like to say, is the OG influencer. And you can influence in a lot of different ways. You don't always need to be like camera facing. The thing is like pretty much anyone who is camera facing, they have a Leo placement, myself included. I'm a Leo sun. And like I didn't want to do it, but then I'm like, oh, I kind of like it. Like I have
That's
friends who
so
have
Leo.
like Leo rising, they have a Chiron in Leo. Like your Chiron is actually in Leo, so it makes sense why you don't want to be on camera because usually like Leo Chirons are like, I don't want to show my face. But actually you'll see that that's what people really resonate with. That's what the algorithms resonate with. You can work yourself up to that right now. Super easy. You can have people sign up to like a newsletter, just start writing, just start sharing. And people are really curious about female pilots. Like, where do they go? What do they see? Like, and just kind of like documenting. It's very empowering for other people. I think you'll really enjoy it too. Like where you go, because I know I used to work in hospitality and at Hilton, and we always had flight crews come in. So I know you stay pretty much like a day or two, especially
Yeah.
international. And if you've been working in it for a long time, you kind of get your pick, right? Or you can choose like your routes for a set period
Yep.
of time. So I would say like really listen to your intuition around like what places like you want to go to.
Yeah, and I've always been the person that's like, I'm creating like this was the best restaurant, or this was like I got a
Yeah.
massage in this city. Like I keep Yelp boards, like folders of like different cities of like, oh, that one was great for that coffee place. Like it's
Yeah,
insane.
people like that. And so just put it up like on a website. It's like easy to do. You have signatures that you're like you got a can-do attitude. You'll be able to figure it out.
Okay, cool.
I hope that was helpful.
It was. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Carol has a question about Pars Fortuna. So I don't talk a lot about Pars Fortuna. It's like a point. It's not like a planet. And this is a point that talks about your luck. So when you are taking the lead creatively, being center stage, like on a stage, or doing something creative or doing inner child healing work, that is going to be very lucky. It kind of is like boosting all areas of your chart. Leo Sun here, but I never want to be in front of the camera, but you still want your compliments. Okay. My Leo Sun being called out because I do making yeah, content for from like camera facing. Okay, let's go in order. Um, Angel? Which one?
It's Angel.
Angel. Okay, you have a question. What's your question? Then Kathleen.
Okay, so I have a Leo North Node,
Mm.
which is really gone having a career that revolves around me being expressive and creative. But I have a Saturn in Taurus and a Taurus rising, and my Sun, Moon, and Mercury is in Capricorn. So it's like
Oh,
I'm trying to like put together the creativity in a safe
I
way. It's
know.
like I'm scared to
Yeah,
fully go hard into like my creativity, even though I really want to from my heart. But my
I
mind is like,
know.
how are you gonna do that? That's not practical. That's not safe. It's like,
Well, it's hard because Capricorn is very traditionalist. So it wants to do things by the rules, but like you can't really do things by the rules creatively. It's very like it's very hard to do. And so I know that the last few years you have done a lot of work around like feeling stable and like self-worth from like the inside out. Okay, it seems like I have your, let's see. You have a sun, moon in Capricorn and a rising in Taurus.
mhm.
Okay, Angel, that's you, all right. Let's see. Oh, it's very activating for communication. I would say like that makes sense. You said you wanted to do blogging.
Mhm.
And like yeah, I
I
do feel like that
also,
will, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I also started a YouTube channel,
Mm,
and briefly I had a creative coach, but I kind of gave up on it because I chickened out. So I don't know. It's like I keep trying different creative avenues, and then
yeah.
I get afraid because I don't feel like it's stable or practical, even though I really want to.
Yeah. I would say you have a lot of Capricorn placements, like a lot. And if you're feeling stuck creatively, what you need to do is reset your nervous system. So it might be good for, if I don't know if you are currently working or you have a 9 to 5 or you're exploring something, like stay in the 9 to 5 or get a part-time job so you can kind of reset your nervous system so you don't have to worry about your creative stuff making money. And once you kind of get your creative stuff going, you have to be pretty disciplined about that though. Do something every single day. Um, then it'll just feel a lot better. You'll get a lot more momentum going in terms of you're just like, oh, I can do this because it does take time to build. And like for you specifically, there's a couple different things that you need to like focus on. Like it is very possible for you to start your own business. Um, you also have a lot of Sagittarius in your chart, so you could be like very nomadic. Like a global citizen. You're also very intuitive. It's a couple different things that you need to reconcile from within that you are. It's not choosing. It's kind of just like bringing it out of like, oh, like today, like I'm gonna highlight this feature, like my cheekbones rather than like my lips, or today I'm gonna do my lips and my brows. It's just like kind of like you pick and choose,
Hmm.
and you have a couple things that are opposing, and that's why you feel friction. It's like there's like three people living within you. That's
Yes.
normal. The sooner you like embrace it, the better it's going to be.
Okay.
I hope that was helpful.
Helpful. It was. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Okay, let's go in order. Sophia had like a text question. I have my IC and Leo. How does that relate to being in front of the camera? Your IC is the opposite of your MC. It gives you a lot of information around like your home life. So it's I feel like maybe as a child, like you may have performed like in front of like family or during like holidays or just like a family that is like very, very creative. Oh, good, Sabrina. I'm happy to hear that. Okay, so we have Kathleen, Jessica, and then Mary. Okay, Kathleen.
Hi there. I'm just gonna kind of speak my stuff out and then yeah, go from there. So my North node is Pisces, South node is Capricorn, Sun and Moon is Scorpio, Rising is Capricorn. Or sorry, my South node
Virgo.
is Virgo, yes. I feel like I'm always getting bodied by like life lessons or something. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder like if it inhibits me from like moving forward with career direction and clarity. But in addition to that, I just feel like internally I'm built for creative messaging. I used to teach public speaking. I actually love
Mm.
talking in front of people.
Mm.
Cameras don't scare me, and it's not
Mm.
like from an egoic place. It's more just like I enjoy sharing information with people.
Yeah.
Um, I have this lack of clarity of like the how I'm going to try and I guess move forward. My
Okay.
goal is to launch a healthy cooking blog and coaching service because currently I'm a personal trainer, nutrition coach as well. Um and yet for some reason, even though I can speak the message out, it's more like okay, how do I do it? Do I need a team to do it? Um, how do I clear out the time in order to do it? And do some of the things that I have like currently in the pipeline of like how I'm creating income currently, does it need to die off? So all of these things just kind of create feelings of doubt around launching.
Okay. Can you DM me your email? Because
Yep.
I wonder if you like did your free report just as Jessica.
No, I did so I got a full career expanded report from you.
Yes, I know. I know all of you did. But I'm just like looking up really quickly. I'm trying to pull up like your reports.
Mm,
Uh, but if you just can put in your email so I can like pull it up in my inbox
sure. Okay.
so I can see because I think like your Chiron is kind of influencing you.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. See if we can find that email. Oh yeah, there you are. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's happening here. Okay. Let's focus on one question first. What is like the first question that you would like to ask? Like the most important question?
Probably the most important question currently is like, um, am I saturating myself with, first of all, too much work? And where like, well, I am saturating myself with too much current work, but I'm not sure where the fear of letting go comes from because that's one of my big inhibitors.
Okay. Um, let's see. Fear of letting go. So, fear of letting go can also be translated to having control issues. Um, you
Cool.
have a challenge. Yeah, you have a challenge for your Chiron. Yeah, it's your Chiron, like like following your intuition
Mhm.
and like the needing to know. So there's a conflict in the placement, the Chiron and Cancer in the house.
Mhm.
So like you already have a hard time like trusting and leaning into like the feminine and the flow state and sometimes feeling like belonging of like the right place to be and all of that kind of like is happening within a structure and wellness component and it deals with like control wanting to know
Mhm.
um you also have a lot of Scorpio placements related to your career as well. It's one that is like a deep truth seeker, and for you the work that you can be doing, which I think you're doing already, is like deep shadow work, breath work exercises. If you can go to like a breath work class, whether it's in person or digitally, and if you need a digital recommendation,
Mhm.
I can send that to you. You can just email me, just reply like on the same thread as your report. But there's a lot of like emotion, a lot of karma in your chart that needs to be released. And I think that's what's not allowing you to really move forward and activating your intuition. Because with
Mhm.
the North Node in Pisces, it's really about understanding like letting go
Mhm.
is going to lead you to the right place. It's not about hoarding.
Mhm.
It's about discernment, about what are the top three things you can focus on, because
Mhm.
you see the truth very, very clearly for others. Like very, very clearly, to the point that you probably trigger people at work.
Mhm.
Or people, like if it's the right people, they're just like, wow, can't believe you said that about me. It is the truth. So you this last full moon in Scorpio a month ago really hit you hard, and you're starting to see the truths that you start to see yourself in a
Mhm.
way that allows you to kind of start fixing things, and like how you clearly see, like so clearly for others, you're starting to see for yourself.
Mhm.
So I would say moving through your emotions is going to be very important. Doing breath work, some like shadow work as well.
Mhm.
Those are going to be very helpful so you can break through and kind of discern yourself which things you should focus on. Because I think this placement that you have likes to keep busy.
Mhm.
It
Oh
just
yeah.
it's like I don't have feelings, but I do have feelings. I
Yeah.
have to distract myself. Uh, okay, let's see. Okay. Thank you, Jessica. So I'm gonna be mindful of time, Sabrina, and then we have Melanie asking a question. And then I have two questions from email that I need to answer. So your turn, Sabrina. Good to see you.
I've already asked a question, so I'm happy to let others go that haven't asked one.
Oh.
I think Mary also said she had a question in the chat.
Oh yeah, Mary did have a question. She's going to be after you. Okay. I think so. I think so. Mary, what is your question? And then I'll go to Melanie.
Well, it has a lot to do with what you talked about with Kathleen. You answered
Oh,
quite there,
good.
but I think it's kind of just expanding upon trusting your intuition. So people kind of see me, a Pisces is flowy, but I've never really resonated with that. And I had a stable career for a decade, and I just
Mhm.
quit that a couple of years ago out of the blue with nothing lined up. And I decided to try teaching for a year and I hated it. And I felt like, what the heck is going on? Why is my intuition? It kind of felt like a maze where I went to the wrong door and I had to turn
Oh,
around.
get stuck.
And now, I mean, now I'm in this startup. I work in sustainable fashion and I really
Okay.
love it, but it's not a traditional job. It's not profitable yet. And so I'm really struggling with that and trying to kind of figure things out. And I do have a Gemini midheaven, so I do tend to change
Mm.
industries quite a bit. So I just feel like I shouldn't feel stuck, but I do. And I'm having a
Yeah.
hard time trusting myself right now.
Okay, so you're having a hard time trusting yourself because your North Node is in Aries. So you're going through your nodal return right now. It's supposed to be confusing. Like the past year has been very challenging. But it is going to get a lot better. You kind of need to let the dust settle because a lot of relationship things have shifted for you as well. But know that you'll get this clarity throughout the rest of the year. Your ability, your desire to start and stop things. It's mostly, it's not the MC that's in Gemini, it's actually your Aries placements. It's like quick to start and hard to finish.
I that doesn't resonate as much just because was in something for a decade. So I stayed within the same industry for a decade. It's just recently where I've tried something and I stuck the commitment
Yeah.
out. at least for the teaching year. And then I just decided I hated it. It wasn't quite for me. And now I'm trying something new that I really love. I'm just struggling because it's a difficult space to be in, and it's hard to make money, to be honest. And
Yeah. So with a North Node in Aries, there is a lot of opportunity, as well as like looking at other things in your chart to start a business. And this can be something that is like very relationship driven, connecting people, and it is going to be challenging to figure that out purely because the North Node is in Aries right now. It's a time to kind of contemplate and think about next steps. I understand why you went into the teaching component because of the couple Sagittarius placements you have and Gemini placements. But really, what I see is taking this time for yourself more and finding creative outlets are going to be very, very helpful, purely because your North Node is in Aries and then your Sun and your Moon are in water signs. So you're very intuitive and very psychic. And a lot of that might be getting cluttered based on what you think you should be doing. So I would invite you to revisit your spiritual practices like meditation and yoga, and not wanting to kind of like rush anything and just seeing kind of how it unfolds, because things are still unfolding. Like the answers are still coming and the clarity is still coming through the rest of the year. I know that's probably the answer that you don't want to hear, but that is the answer that I can provide right now.
no, that helps. And
Okay.
the last thing I'll say is that the
Yeah.
organization is actually helping other people, other fashion designers. So it's not me designing. So that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. So thank
Okay. Yes, of course. Okay. And I see that I accidentally skipped no, Jessica. I was at, oh, yes. Okay. Ray wants to know the sustainable fashion brand. Okay, Jessica, it's your turn. Sorry, I
No,
forgot.
not a problem. Okay, this one will be quick-ish.
Okay.
We've chatted before. North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo. The the dilemma that I'm facing currently is that this manager position is getting posted soon, and it's the same manager position I applied for last year and didn't get it. So it's another opportunity to do it, to try again. And I just don't know if it aligns, or well, the report says it doesn't align because it's another it's a manager position and finance analyst, which is definitely within my South Node.
Well, it depends. It depends if you want to drop your email so I can search for it in my inbox. It depends on your other placements, because you may have like other Scorpio placements, or okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay. All right. So you have this other role that you applied to last year that you didn't get, and you want to apply to it again.
It just opened up again because that person left. So they're gonna repost it. And I'm like, do I go for it a second time, or do I, this is a sign to like not do it?
Is it in the same company?
Yeah, same company, same team, just a promotion up.
Do you know the hiring manager?
I do, yep.
Why don't you just talk to them?
I could.
Just make it easy for yourself. You're like, should I apply? Just go. You already know the hiring manager. Just like Slack them and be like, hey, I applied to this last year, or you know, and now I see there's an opening again. I'm really interested. Do you have time for a coffee?
He's my current manager too, so it makes things a little more complicated.
Sorry, what did you say?
She's my current manager as well. It's just like it's a manager
Oh,
under
so
her.
it's above her.
It's below.
Oh, her.
She's a senior, then
Yeah.
there's a manager, and I'm just the analyst, but I'm the analyst reporting directly to a senior right now.
Oh, okay. So I would say like just kind of feel it out. I also I remember we talked before too. Um, have you been doing your meditations and spiritual work?
Not as much, but I just started acupuncture to try to like manage stress.
Okay, good. Okay. I think that's really important. And did you start like your creative activity and exercise routine that we talked about?
I did not. So I decided that just I didn't have the capacity to start a whole bookkeeping thing. And so I had to ask
Mm.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't need to do, I feel like you think that it has to be something like super big. It doesn't have to look that way. And the small thing that you can do right now, just to help to get more clarity, tap into your intuition, is to just do something fun, like
Okay.
creatively. Because there's like that energy that needs to kind of like be shared like with the world. And there needs to be frustration that has to be released, as well as some like voice activation. This year is like really, really big on how you lead, how you take action, and how you activate your voice. So one of the best ways for you to work through those lessons is to do something creative, to do something to move your body. And it's okay if you kind of table the finance, accounting stuff that we talked about before, because like I said, it's really important to regulate your nervous system. And sometimes I think that right now you're feeling probably a little bit overloaded on like what to focus on and all the different things you could be doing, should be doing. Just do the things you want to do.
Thank you.
Just do the things you want to do. You don't need to do it all. I see that you have placements here that make you feel like, you got to do it all. No, no, that's just you.
Totally.
That's just you. And not everything comes at once, because if everything comes at once, then what do we have to look forward to? Yeah, just do the things you want to do. Just do the things you want to do. Hold on, let me reply to some messages here. Let's see. Best of just do the things you want to do. So I think that we have another question in here. And then I have some questions from email. Um, Melanie, my report says I'll find my life purpose using my platform to help others behind the scenes. So this advice chaps my ass because being female in our society means we're told to play small and expected to let others take the lead. And I've spent too much of my life deferring to others. How do I reconcile what I want to do with my chart tells me I should be doing? Okay, let me see if I can find your chart in here. I think I should be able to find it just by putting in your, let's see. Maybe it might be helpful for you to send me your email too. Like DM me your email. I think I have the right one. Now, my guides are always to support you. They're never kind of like an end all be all. Um, So I want you to know that your intuition is always going to supersede the insights that I will share. And there's always more stuff that I will be able to share, like over conversation like this or in a reading. So let's see. So let me look at Melanie's. Okay. So I knew that you're focusing too much on kind of like the status quo, how things have been done. What you really need to realize is like you have a very specific way of thinking, of imagining how like life can be better. So you should really, really lean into that. You're a rule breaker, so it like and no wonder you're just like, yeah, I don't want to defer, like I don't like like saying all of that. It makes a lot of sense. Like you get to do your own thing. And I know that you're going through your Chiron return right now, so there's a lot of thinking about how to take the lead, and you'll be experiencing this theme for like the next year. But really, I would say start to think about and embrace the parts of you that are really different. And I have a feeling that you're probably hanging out with people that are a little bit more traditional, and those who may not like understand like just your way of thinking as well. So really try to find more friends who are Aquarius. That is going to be really helpful. Another aspect is also working in technology, just like very small steps, and just start to explore like what feels right for you, because you are a rule breaker. You're very innovative. There's parts of you that you really need to lean into, that it's like a lifelong lesson to kind of really just embrace the unique parts of who you are, the different way of thinking and living and interpreting things. That's going to be extremely important. Oh, yeah, my BFFs are suburban squares. Yeah, I think you really, I would say you should go into the city for some conferences, some hackathons, some innovation conferences, some like women conferences and like summits. That's going to be really, really helpful. And then I know that this theme has come up a lot in like I see in the chat and also in some of the questions you've asked in terms of how to reconcile the masculine and the feminine. This is something I have been working on for the past few years. I have a lot of earth elements in my chart. My south node is in Virgo, like many of you, or a specific, you're welcome, Melanie, a specific chunk of you. And we will come up to a time very soon next year that will invite us to release control and to find more flow and more femininity. And this is honestly something that I have had a lot of challenges with as well, purely because it almost seems like from a very young age as women, we were not able to be as feminine as we wanted to be, or feminine in the ways that felt good to us. There's like certain ways that we had to be. And then when we went into the workforce, most of us kind of put on like an outfit, like an armor that was very masculine, especially if you're in a male dominated field. So we've had to operate in a very forcing way, which is why I feel like we've, in some instances, really like women pit each other, or pitted against one another. You can only be like the single woman in like the C-suite or in this like group or something like that. And also like a certain way of thinking of like, oh my God, I can't say that I need to take time off because like my periods are terrible. Like I'm literally bleeding out. Or like I've had to get surgery, or I'm dealing with something that men don't understand and I feel embarrassed about it. But now we have shifted into the kind of like this new, just like way of being. People are much more accepting, and there is an opportunity for you to like start leading by example, whether it's your own business or a company that you're working in, just being like, I need to take a mental health day, or I need to quit this job because this job is causing me to be ill. No matter how great the benefits are, how good the insurance is, it is slowly killing you, then you must really leave. We are faced right now to balance the masculine and the feminine within us, and leading and trying to lead more with trust and intuition. This is why I hosted an event a couple weeks ago. Carol is able to come. I think she's the only one on the call that was in LA that could come. That really focused on intuition. This is going to be a very, very important tool. How to read energy, practicing mindfulness, tapping into your intuition, that innate knowing, innate wisdom. Sometimes people around you, like if you're on this call, that means you're probably pretty different from the people in your group. And that can be really hard as you create your own path forward. So I want you to really trust, really ground, really anchor, really root down in your intuition, knowing that you will be validated really soon. You're already validated really like now, and start to try to let go, try to do things in a new way. Don't do things from the old paradigm. Don't do things according to like the old way. Like all my clients who start new businesses, they sometimes create like their own like prison. Like they whether it's a creative project, a side hustle, or a business, they're like doing it the same way as they would their old job, working for someone else. And I'm like, no, one of the best things that you can do is that you can work differently in your own business, your own side hustle. It's just as important as the new product, the new service that you offer as well. And as we kind of find and amplify the divine feminine, finding more flow, we can then create the structures that are very important so that we can do the things that we want to do. That really requires us to lean into our desires, our joy, our creativity, and listening to those small breadcrumbs that our intuition really leaves for us. I love that. Searching for doing divine feminine meditations. This is like really, really powerful. I really appreciate you answering my question, but honestly, I've gotten so much more from Emma's followers questions and your on-point responses. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, it's really helpful to come together as a group. Creating distance from old friends and making new friends has definitely created some grief, yes, but very fulfilling moments. Yes, we have to let go for the new things to come in. Yes, feeling like a square in a round peg. But once you start, you're a square and you're like, oh, like all the pegs, like a square. I'm like, wait, now I'm getting a little tired from all the readings. But basically, once you start focusing on your intuition, you will find a place that you fit into. So you're not going to be a square in a round peg. You're going to be a round in a round peg. Okay, let me answer some of these questions. So we have someone, they said they put in their notice at their job today. Congratulations. I was planning on quitting back in April, but was offered a new role in my company, literally out of the blue, gave it a shot. I've been training, but just don't see myself doing anything corporate. My struggle has always been, I can't find something I'm interested in. What should I be looking towards? Okay, so I looked at your chart and your North Node is in Capricorn in the 5th house. And then I actually see that you have a lot of, I mean, your chart is somewhere floating around here. I have like a million windows open. Here it is. There's really a strong focus on creativity. So doing anything creative, anything intuitive is going to help you understand what's going to resonate the most with you. Just because with so many Capricorn placements, as well as Virgo placements, like you really have an opportunity to, and the desire to kind of stand out and start your own thing. But it does feel like you need a bridge job. So I would say doing something that combines those South Node skills in your report with those North Node lessons are going to be very helpful. So it could be working for a startup in like ed tech, in like a therapy clinic or office, anything like cancer related, but really requires you to be creative and operational and structured. And there is a lot of identity work that you need to be doing as well, from what I see in your chart. That's going to be super, super important to help you figure out what you're interested in, because you're searching for all the answers outside, but the answers are actually within, especially for you, because you have 3 planets in the 1st house. So that is a lot of focus on who you are, what lights you up, and you have to kind of explore and figure those things out. And the best way to do it is through something creative. Let me see the other questions I have. Looks like I've answered all of them. Let me come back to the chat. Okay. All right. It's 6 minutes after the hour. I'm just gonna do one last question, just one more. And then if you have more questions, I won't be able to get to you, Ray. Just DM me. We talk a lot over Instagram anyway, so why don't you just DM me? Okay, Timmy, what is your question?
Oh, hi. Okay. Sorry, I was just like eating a late dinner here while I was
It's
eating,
fine. And
but
I seem to recall like you do go by Timmy as well, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I guess like I was just rereading my report. I know it's been a while, but
Mhm.
it does keep telling me that I'm a people connector and
Mhm.
that I speak really well and that I'm able to communicate really well. And
Yeah.
I mean, I got laid off last December and I've been
Mhm.
interviewing here and there, and I just have been really feeling pretty depleted in a sense that I personally don't think I'm the best interviewer, no matter how much I prepare for it. And
Okay.
um,
Let's see.
so I think I'm kind of just struggling with resonating with the fact that I um am a good communicator because I feel like I'll get maybe second or third place for an interview.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm grateful that I get that far, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also still kind of a challenge for me to feel really good about it
Mm-hmm.
while I'm in this job hunt. So I guess I'm just curious, like, how can I guess how can I resonate with, and then I saw like
Mm.
in the report too that my that I also I do struggle with, is weird because it kind of conflicts in a sense. Like I'm a good communicator, but I'm also not, because I'm in fear of being misunderstood
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm just trying to decipher that piece. And it
Mhm.
makes sense because like I do have a lot of social anxiety, but I
Yeah.
also do have a lot of my social calendar.
Yes, yeah, it's a lot of duality in the chart. So you are going through your nodal return. I know this is very challenging because career is very, very important to you. Success is important to you, and taking the lead is very important to you, but it's kind of felt a bit stuck. So in some of the ways that you're communicating, you are a good communicator, and sometimes your communication can be a little bit direct. um I don't really sense that like from our conversation right now. I don't feel that energy like from you. I think that maybe I feel like you're kind of interviewing for like jobs that you're overqualified for.
Yes and no. I personally don't have that kind of confidence to say I'm overqualified. It's
I
funny, I was like
Yeah.
talking to a friend and she was like, I feel like sometimes when you interview, you're a little intimidating
You
or
are. You are. People are like, "Ah, she's gonna take my job." That's what I see. That's why, like, you're very well spoken. Like, you are a leader when you speak.
oh,
You
no.
like lead, and it's like it's got a lot of what they like to say executive presence. And if you don't talk to someone who has the same level of as executive presence, they're just like, oh, they seem like they're overqualified, or they could be doing their own thing now. Um, let's see. Let's see. What are the other things that I can kind of help you figure out? You know, you should look into working for an early stage startup.
Mm,
So you have a Pisces midheaven. That means you're pretty intuitive, and doing something creatively is going to help you find success. I would go on Y Combinator, their jobs section. Y Combinator is an incubator, one of the most famous incubators in the world. They have a job section that has all the companies that go through Y Combinator, and
mhm.
they have money to hire.
Okay.
So I
Got
would
it.
look at that, just because like you got good energy to kind of like be able to like handle your own in a startup, and like kind of being changey. Like you could definitely
Mhm.
be an early stage, like first hire, one of the first like 5 to 10 hires.
Wow.
You have, I feel it. So I would say I would be surprised if in the next few months you find a job.
Mm.
Really. Final deployment of capital before the summer break is happening within the next month. You'll interview in the coming months, and you'll land something right around September.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I really think so. Be aggressive about your applications. Do more informational interviews. But yeah, you'd be a wonderful early stage employee before you want to do your own thing.
Thank you. Thank you. I do have a small business, but
Oh, you
honestly,
do.
I do. And I kind of started it. Now I just feel like I'm kind of losing steam.
What is
I don't
it?
know. I sell crystals and
Oh,
jewelry.
oh my God,
Um,
I love it.
and I've had it for like the last 2.5 years, but I'm kind of in this season of wanting rest for myself. And so
Mhm,
it's tough because yeah, I'm looking for a job, and honestly I feel like it's one of those times where I want to bring structure back into my life and make,
mhm.
albeit it's probably a little forced having a nine to
Yeah.
five. Um,
It,
whereas
yeah,
owning a small business, I think about it nonstop. And I think it's been kind of like taking up my mental capacity,
yeah.
where it feels unwelcome. Like I am not
Mm.
welcoming it, and I'm ready to kind of focus a little bit more on my personal life while also still expanding in a career, like on my career, because I have, I've been out of work for the last 6 months.
Yeah, I think that, the advice that I gave earlier about the regulating the nervous system is going to be really
Yeah.
important. You do have a lot of like entrepreneurial energy, but this year specifically because of your nodal return, it's just like a really strong spotlight. You're just a little fatigued.
Yeah.
And this cycle will officially end in January of 2025, and it'll like start 2025 in like a really wonderful way. And then you'll start seeing kind of a lot of the Pisces in your chart being activated. And you might feel like you will be ready to kind of explore it again, maybe in a year's time, the crystals and stuff. So I would say take the rest that you need. I really feel like the early stage startup is going to be good because you're pretty intimidating.
Oh,
Not in a bad way. It's
way.
just it's not bad. It's very good, but you need to go to the places where you'll be seen. A lot of times we personally and professionally we kind of play it safe.
Mhm.
So don't play it safe, you know what you're talking about, own your experience, own your ideas, own your vision, come to them with a 30, 60, 90-day plan, if it's something that you really care about. And yeah, you've just been looking in the wrong places.
Thank you. Well, thank you. That's very reassuring and validating too. So thank you.
You're welcome. I know when we're job hunting, it can be super challenging, so you got it. I mean, I've definitely been there. It just takes some time to kind of work through, and the more grace and empathy and compassion you give yourself, the faster you actually get out of it. That's the ironic part. So everyone, take good care of yourselves. I would love to hear what you thought about the session as well. So please email me. I mean, Instagram, email, I'm so easy to find. And I will follow up with a replay as well as opening up some mini career astrology settings so that we can dive in if you want to get some more prescriptive stuff, especially if you're thinking about jobs in other places, the astrocartography, the timing of things, to get more specific that we can't really do on like a 1 hour shared call. Otherwise, it's going to be a great season to connect with one another, to be social, to communicate, to really work on those things. And I will probably do one of these maybe in the summertime. Seems like this is like a really effective session. So I'll try to do these on a quarterly basis. And yeah, I'll chat with you guys soon. And sorry, Ray, I didn't get to answer your question. Just DM me. And it was so lovely to see you, to hear your voices, and I know that we will connect soon. All right, bye guys.